Hello, and welcome to another episode of In My Experience with yours truly, Christine DeGinto. This podcast is a space where I speak from lived experience. The moments that shaped me, challenged me, and changed the way that I understand myself in the world. The awakenings, the breakdowns, the moments that cracked me open, asked me to stay present, be embodied, and be honest with myself. I share my stories not to persuade or define truth for anyone else, but to offer perspective, to explore the gray areas we don't often have language for, to slow things down and listen more closely to what's happening beneath the surface. You'll hear solo episodes where I reflect on my own initiations, spiritual gifts, and the systems that tried to define me. And conversations with guests who have walked strange, beautiful, and sometimes painful paths of their own and come back with wisdom to share with us. I invite you to take what resonates, leave the rest, and trust your own experience as valid. Thank you for being here. This is In My Experience. Welcome back to In My Experience. This is part 2 of my conversation with Erica Cordeiro. Before we drop back in, here's a little orientation for what this half holds. In this part, we move into religion, fear conditioning, and reclaiming a direct relationship with spirit, Jesus and Mary Magdalene as lived embodied experiences rather than doctrine, awakening first and finding language later. Chakras, clairs, nervous system awareness. Oh goodness, the list goes on. Interdimensional experiences and what it takes to integrate them without leaving your body or your life. Homeschooling, parenting, and sovereignty inside of systems that don't always fit sensitive kids. And the ongoing question of intuition, perception, manifestation, or remembering. This conversation is not about convincing or explaining. It's about speaking from our lived experiences and letting complexity exist without rushing to meaning. As always, take what resonates and leave the rest. All right, let's drop back in. Before I speak on it, but the super soldier program, it seems like they target people specifically who have the heightened capability of doing that. And I think that does have ties to your soul. And somehow they're able to identify that. And for whatever reason, I guess right now it's coming to me, it's really clicking in and I'm feeling it. So I guess I'll express it. But that might be one of the reasons why when I had that experience where I jumped timelines, when I came back, what I said was, why are you doing this to me? Is it because I'm so powerful? The guy was just laughing. He was just laughing. And then I was like, is it because I'm so powerful? He said, that's what every girl says. Then I'm like, is it because I'm the only one with my name? Because I understood that your name has a number and like it has like all of the astrological corresponding numerology information and how somehow it translates to a financial, it's like a number that is like your worth, but it has nothing to do with money, like US dollars. It's ethereal money. It's like the weirdest thing, but I did get that very strongly. And that would make sense because if it's tied to that capability, it would also make sense why I was able to break that connection and come back into this reality. I don't think they were anticipating that. I think they thought they were going to drive me crazy, but I quickly broke out of it and was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Like trying to interrogate them. Like that was that version of me hopping into me too, being like, I'm going to fight. Yes.
Your whole life has been training you for that.
Yeah, basically. I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah.
To fight, to resist you. But also like there's never a middle ground for you. You're like either so accepting or just like fuck you.
Takes
But
a
like so loving or just like no, I don't want to have anything to do with.
Yeah, totally true. Ask my daughter. And that sounds shitty, but sometimes I have to recognize that I am like being overstimulated or like we'll be laying on the couch together. Lovely. I love her so much. I'm hugging her. I kiss her head. We're cuddling. And then like I get up, get water, come back, and then slowly creeps back over to me. But then eventually I realize my shoulder's like this and my neck is like that. And I'm like, actually, can you get off me? Like,
Yeah.
it's like I just need space, you know? But it'll happen suddenly where I'm like, yo, you know what? I actually just need like I need some space. And then she'll be like, why are you so mean? I'm like, you're just extremely loud. Like, please stop yelling. Like, she just is very animated and it's all great. Like, it's not like I yell at her or really like get upset, but sometimes things will happen like the other day I was almost afraid that one of the files that I had been working on for another episode disappeared because it wasn't reflected on my computer. And I was like, well, like it wasn't reflected anywhere, actually. I don't actually know what happened, but somehow it came back. But I was like, it's not there. And then I got really worried, but everything was really loud all of a sudden. And I didn't notice until right then. I was like, turn everything off. That might be, I could be autistic. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it's also normal to just be like, I reached my limit and I need some space. So I definitely recognize that. I like flip. Uh, I'm not always, I'm not always consistent.
It's okay.
Yeah. I don't,
Energy isn't.
yeah. Yeah.
Then that's what you are. Conduit for energy. You are energy. You are frequency. And it just is what it is. That right there, knowing to my core that like when it came to healing, I'm like pivoting a little bit.
Yeah.
You try all of these things, right? You learn these modalities, you join these courses, you go on these like healing retreats, and sure, it's all fine. It's great and it works in the moment, or maybe it doesn't. But one thing that really helped me was seeing everything in the form of energy, like distilling it down. And that allowed me to heal from really hard shit that I thought I would never heal from.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
it does take some practice, which is good. It's like the worst part. Like, yeah, suited energy. Like, but what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah. Well, no, it makes total sense because it's like at the end of the day, that really is all there is. And I know that I have understood that at certain points. And for me, I see God, it's like it's almost like a cloud of energy in space. Like it's like a gas cloud and it's purple. Like and it's love energy. And to me, that's God. Like I don't know how to explain it. That's what I usually see.
Yeah. That's so funny that you see it that way. I see absolutely nothing. Like, have you ever done a Joe Dispenza meditation?
No, but I've think I probably like wanted to, but like I did, couldn't sit down long enough, which is something normal for me.
There is nothing out there like it. And I'm not saying that in a good or bad way. I'm just saying, like, it's so far fetched. But what he does is he tells you to imagine this space and the vastness of the space in front of you, behind you, to the side of you. And it's almost like you're being transported into like you're a star or you're a speck of dust and everything is so big. It's
Yeah.
so black, it's so wide, and so vast. And in those moments, like when I do his meditations, I feel like there is no God and that I am God and that everyone else is God and we are all God. It's the weirdest fucking thing,
Well,
especially doing it on shrooms. Like,
it's weird to describe to other people, but it's not weird at all.
yeah, I highly recommend the next time you do shrooms to pop on a Joe Dispenza meditation and listen to it because I did it one time with my husband. He's never meditated in his life. We rented an Airbnb. I was like, I'm going to try something. And he is like a mathematician, right? Like all he does is code all day. He like just everything is like numbers and equation and coding and math. So he doesn't like think in terms of like emotions, right?
Mhm.
So I turned on this Joe Dispenza meditation and it was an hour long. And we were at like the height of our like our trip, right? Our journey. And afterwards, like, what the fuck was that? I don't even know where I went. He's like, where did I go? He like really wanted to know where he went because he got transported to the place that I was talking about.
Oh my God.
And yeah, and I was like, you just got dispensed, dude, is what I said. That's all I said. I was like, it just happened for you. And he got addicted after that. Like for a while, he was like meditating to Joe Dispenza because he was like, I want to go back there. And I'm like, well, your conscious mind has to take a back seat. And then you have to like deliberately tell yourself like you're okay and you're safe to go there, which is not normal for a PTSD army veteran to do.
Yeah, very true. But something good for him to have connected to so that he has recognition of and reason to attain again. And through awareness, like reaching that point is easier. So
Yeah. It
that's a
was a pivotal moment for us in our relationship too, because then without using any words and expending my own energy, he then understood a lot about me and what I'm into and the things that I've been saying because he got to experience it on a visceral level, like a visceral level. So it was an all around great healing moment to have Joe Dispenza as our non-therapist.
that's beautiful. Can I ask you, can we take a pee break?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Take a pee.
Please. I have been needing to as well.
Then when you were talking, I was like, I think that I have to pee extra bad because she has to pee.
Yes. Okay. BRB. Hello.
Hi.
I had to go all the way upstairs because my cleaners are here right now.
Gosh,
I know. There was
that's so
just,
funny. You're talking about cleaners. Before we started this, before I got in the shower, I was thinking about how my ex hired cleaners, and I was like, lucky him. Now somebody just cleans the house. I was just like, oh, like I did all the time. Like, and then I was like, I need a fucking house cleaner. Like, imagine how much more I could get done. But I also love cleaning.
yeah.
But like, not if you have to.
Yeah. I have 4 kids and 2 big ass pit bulls.
Gosh.
Yeah. And I'm always cooking and cleaning.
Well, duh, because you got to do it to do. I mean, like, I try to explain to my kids all the time. Like, first I have to clean up to be able to cook, and then I have to clean up again. So, like, at any,
Yep.
feel free to fucking
Mhm.
help
Yeah.
because this shouldn't be all on me.
No, they have chores. That's a great thing about
Yeah,
like homeschooling my kids that they were raised having chores.
exactly. That's part of the what I was envisioning when I had a space that would have supported it. The home that I owned with my ex was on 7 acres, and I
It's
really wanted.
amazing.
Well, it's not mine anymore, but that's okay.
Does he still live there?
Yeah, he lives there. Yeah,
Was it
that's
in his family?
no, we bought it together.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but that's okay. I did a lot for that space. I really, really liked that space. It was like basically the only thing I wanted, and that's probably why he would never let it go.
Hmm.
Actually, it's I in the process, I realized that it would have actually been a burden because despite my vast knowledge and capabilities, like experience doing things to improve it, like I can paint anything inside or out. I can, design stuff and move things, especially like landscaping, and I set up like an outdoor shower and a tub and, just different stuff. Like I could do a lot. But when you have to do it and it's only you, I mean, that's just like a curse, kind of, you know? And then you're saddled with like all the expenses, like, and it's just you. That's a curse.
Oh yeah, all the expenses. Yeah.
Like that would
It's true.
a burden to my soul. And what I've been told by many people is I just needed to be able to make the space to be able to receive what's actually meant for me. Like that's not meant for me and it has different energy tied to it and it's just not for me. So gotta let it go. But I was like,
Yeah.
but it's perfect. I already own it and I already have all the materials for fencing and I bought $700 for the seeds and I have all these different plants to install and this, that, and the other thing and chickens and bees. Nope, leave it. Okay, here I am.
Creating space for something better to come through.
Yeah,
That's what you did. You let dead weight go. Yes, yes, yes.
yeah. That was especially what I understood in depth was the money that was, I associate any of the money that was part of that relationship with a past life frequency and like part of untangling myself from that is like not being associated with that currency at
Hmm.
all. Like it needed to be divided and it needed to be like, you know, it's karma. It was like karma. That's how I saw it. But
Yeah, definitely needed to go. I agree.
yeah, but it just needed to be separated. Things needed to be restructured. So yeah.
Good riddance. That's what I say to that. This or something better. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you. Next. So Grace, my daughter, was saying the other day, she's like, yeah, you're the best mom that I could have had, and I picked you for that. Similar to what you were saying before, like
Aw.
she's like, but she was like, yeah, I picked you for that. And then she was like, you were the best option to make sure that I'd be happy and safe. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm really happy to hear that. And then she's like, I was like, I want to be with you forever, but you never know. And she's like, yeah, well, if that happens, I'll just say thank you. Next. I was like, what? But actually, that's a good thing. You know what I mean? Like, that would be ideal for her to do. So,
That is so cute.
yeah, so funny. Ah,
I love it. This is so amazing. Like, congratulations on your podcast. What's it called?
in my experience,
Ooh, I love that.
well, that it could be interesting. Like, there are things that I'll share from being in my experience, but it's also like, in my experience, this is what, yeah,
Yeah,
but it's also in my experience. And it's not just me, it's you too. And all of our experiences, because we are actually the battery that creates this reality, all of us together, you know?
always. It's such a mind fuck to think about that too. Like I hate thinking about it because it's like an infinity mirror that goes on and on and on. Like the interconnectedness and all again, my brain like, okay, don't think about it because it overwhelms you. It short fuses my system when I think about it, right?
Well, because I think you're so sensitive to the potential paths, like the energetic ties that create the paths. So then it like literally is overwhelming you because it's
Yeah,
much for you to read.
I like that analogy. So it's actually really caused me to be more human and to feel more grounded in this reality. Like my work, like I feel like you're such a galactic bitch. Your work is like probably like out there somewhere, right? Not probably, it is. Like my work feels so earthly, like and so rooted here in this reality, helping others navigate. This is what came to me actually last night at like 2 a.m. when I woke up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom and I couldn't go back to sleep. Was you're here to like help other people with their relationships, not just with others, but like how they show up in relationships
Mm.
and how to be more assertive or like break through the patterns that plague you. You know, a lot of people, marriages end, right? Like you've had a marriage end. Every single one of my sisters is every single, they've had like relationships that ended. My mom's been married and divorced several times, and there's always a common theme. And more often than not, there's a lot of victim mentality that's wrapped up in there. And we, unless we feel like we can, we don't look into the mirror and we
Mhm.
don't ever think about like, what am I bringing into this? What patterns and these systems am I bringing into this relationship that's causing all of this shit to happen? I don't know. This is like a new revelation for me. So again, we have many souls purposes. Like do you know anything about astrology?
Barely.
Yeah, me neither.
I find it fascinating, so important to know, very important to be aware of, extremely important to be aware of. I have no idea about it at all. I'm just about my own signs and how that's all interacting. And I also, um, if anything has ever drawn me to astrology where I felt like I actually understood it, it is actually Ascended Astrology by Chris King. The way that he describes the differences between the signs in the false matrix or the ascended matrix, I resonate with that because I wouldn't necessarily even like think that. Like I would sometimes I read like the astrology stuff and I'm like, yeah, that's on point. That's exactly, or like, oh, I should have read this before I, popped off or whatever. And
Mhm.
it's usually accurate. Sometimes I read it and I'm like, slightly offended. And then like if I hear something from Chris in his description of the ascended astrology and it's in a different sign and it's reacting differently and it's activating different things in an alternate way. And I'm like, oh, I would say a more dynamic way. So there's even different types of astrology that people find.
Yeah, there
So,
is.
so
Um, what I resonate most with is Vedic astrology,
awesome.
which is the difference is like there's tropical astrology, which is often known as Western astrology, and then there's Vedic or there's other words for it, sidereal astrology. And tropical is more like getting to know your in self and your the unconscious version of you, right? Like as Carl Jung would say, as long as until you make the unconscious conscious, it will always rule your life. So Western astrology is rooted in that. Whereas the other astrology, sidereal, and there's so many names for it again, is like, here's what's playing out right now. It's very predictable. Like you can predict things with it. Like
Yes.
on Wednesday, you might get into an argument with your partner or blah, blah, blah. Like I had a reading done by this person and he specialized in Vedic astrology and he gave me like here's what like a forecast thing and it was so fucking true. Like my husband sold his company and he was like, is your husband having a change in his career because it's showing up in your chart? And I was like, what the fuck, my husband just sold his company, like this is insane. So astrology to me wasn't ever a thing where I was like, oh yeah, this is real. No, I always thought it was so stupid until then. Until then. But last night I went on, I just decided to look at my chart. Like something obviously called me to look at my chart. And I looked and I have something called a stellium, meaning you have more than 3 or 4 planets in one house, in one sign. And that is what you're here to master, what you've already mastered. Like you're just an expert at this. And this is relationships. And I was
Mm.
like, that's not true. But then when I dug deeper, it was like, no, not just relationships, it's how you see people in an intimate setting, your one on one containers, especially, or your small intimate containers. It's also like being able to speak from a place of like, okay, here's how you're showing up in your relationship, like an outsider's perspective, right? It's so, like, to me, again, I'm not going to let astrology rule my life
Yeah.
because there's
Cool. It's a
both.
Certainly helpful tool.
It is a helpful tool, but I think there are so many people who are like, oh, Pluto is blah 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 doing what do they say? What is that common thing? Mercury is
Mercury's in the microwave.
yeah, it's a retrograde. Oh, that's why that's happening. It's like, but like take some accountability, right? Like we use it as a or sometimes people use it as a get out of jail free card. I know I have. I've done that before. But yeah, astrology is really fascinating. I have maybe a little bit of a desire to learn it, but I set the intention if a teacher decides to come into my life, then I will be open for that. I'm open for it. But right now, like, I don't know. You also can't reinvent something that has always been. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, yes and no, because, gosh, sort of like your viewpoint on homeschool versus like, being trained to learn versus thinking for yourself, being able to like intuitively hone your own version or whatever like understanding you have. I think people do that a lot and just don't even say it. Some people say it like I do something different than most people do, and they'll like disclose that, right? And try to describe it. I don't know. I don't think there's any harm in doing something differently. There's definitely importance for like having a standard though. Like, I mean, you gotta have this standard.
Oh, no, I think you're confusing what I'm saying. I mean, if something is already a thing, it's always been a thing.
Yeah.
Like, we can't create something. Like, energy can never be destroyed or like
Yes.
found, right? It's just always been a thing. Like, I have this theory that most movies, especially Avatar, are just channeled information. And, they use James Cameron as the medium and to like bring it out into the world where it wasn't his idea.
I'm gonna go a step farther than that, than even that it wasn't just James Cameron as the chosen one, but sometimes I have had thoughts where like, okay, this happened for after my Kundalini awakening, which it would, and I thought it was just that, but it could also be this, some sort of like mind technology where they really do read your thoughts and they're aware of what you're broadcasting out, like, but we don't realize how they're doing that, I guess, to the extent that it's being done. But I have had themes going on in my life and then like watch a show like Rick and Morty. It's like I'm waiting for it, like the new episode that week, and I watch Rick and Morty and I swear to God, the in the weirdest ways, it's like mirroring like what's going on. And I'm like, am I insane? Or do you think that they like read my mind and like took the idea from like like it's like so
Or
weird,
are you psychic? Right?
right?
This
And
is the thing. It,
for me, or did I see it coming? Or this
yeah, it is a mind fuck. This is the mind fuck I'm talking about. The chicken or the egg. You don't know which one came first. You just don't know. Am I psychic or am I like, or was this always a thing? Am I reading information or am I psychic or did I manifest this? This is a question that I always ask myself.
And that's a
It,
valid question because sometimes it's like, what the fuck? Like this, like
Mhm.
things happen and you're like, I'm not sure anything's real. Like, what's happening? Oh my gosh. One time I was standing in my kitchen when this was during that time that I was having my Kundalini awakening. And coincidentally, it was triggered by jumping timelines. I had an experience where like it was basically forced where I like jumped, my consciousness was taken and put into another timeline, and I'm not sure, I don't want to get into the dynamics of that, but I think it activated the Kundalini awakening. I think it also was my highest self coming into my body to like help protect me from this psychic attack, and then also like my spiritual gifts coming all on board. So it was like really heightened period of
Wow,
time.
there was so much going on for you.
It was a lot. Yeah. I'm here though. It's okay. We'll make it. Hey, if something's going on,
Survived.
you're gonna be fine. Just hang on. But it's I was standing in the kitchen and there was a ceramic pot like that a small orchid came in, but there was nothing in it and it was on the counter. Nothing was touching it. I was standing in the kitchen. I was in front of the sink thinking about water and how it's connected with everything and how it's intelligent and all the different things. And all of a sudden, this ceramic pot like went like that doesn't make a sound, but it was like ding, like it something it was like something flicked it or like dinged it, but like nothing was touching it, nothing was around. And I'm like, how could that make a sound from nothing? Like, what the fuck is happening? But like, I know I heard it. It was right there in front. Like,
Yeah, that is wild.
oh, if other people experience, I mean, I'm sure other people experience things like this. What is that called? What is this?
I don't know. But we experience, yes, people experience it, but they're not open to receiving it. It's like that whole thing where I explained how people are born psychic because their parents or whatever kind of cultivated that in them and said, yes, magic is real. Yes, Santa is real. Like, I didn't believe in Santa growing up. The first time I celebrated Christmas was when I was 7 years old or 8 years old. Like, I didn't know anything about Christmas.
Wow.
I know it was so crazy. So you're just a you're an interesting person. You're so interesting.
So funny. Reinforced from childhood, all of my interests. Also rocks. Oh my gosh. What I used to do for fun when I was in kindergarten was like dig under a giant like rock trying to get it out. And I used to like always like play with rocks and like make wishes on them. And I thought that they would come true. Well, I was right.
Yeah, you are a walk-in crystal.
That's interesting because I have seen this in my understanding of the priestess codes. I think one of the most important frequency codes that I carry is in my throat chakra, and it was supposed to be transmitted to everything, but it was also at the times with the temples and the priests were limiting the information. You know what I'm saying? Like the priests were like the gatekeepers of the information, so they would come to the priestesses that channeled all the information, and then like they were the mouthpiece of it, but they altered it and they like fucked with it because they wanted to control it. And that was the opposite, essentially the opposite of what this code was. It was like, this cannot be gate kept. Like, you can't hold this frequency back. And I remember watching it like expand. And it was like, that's what it was supposed to do. Like, it was like a Christ code. But like it wasn't special. Like I'm not saying like I'm special. Like that's like a basic thing. You know what I mean? And it was the message that is carried in that frequency code is that we basically all carry like the Christ consciousness capabilities and
Yes.
so yeah.
Yeah. It's the kingdom of God is within you. That is that's my next tattoo, by the way. I actually came up with that yesterday. This morning when I was brushing my teeth, I was like, the kingdom of God is with you. Next tattoo. Boom. Like,
I love that.
I'm gonna get it because I believe it. I
I
believe it. So you're right about we carry that template within us always.
We all do. We all do. And I think that's all Jesus was trying to say. That and also like be a good human.
Yeah.
Just be good.
That's what I feel like sometimes spirituality and, especially like new age spirituality, we, and I am so guilty of this myself, we discover it and we go down these rabbit holes and we tend to escape our reality because nothing is real. Like time isn't real. All of this is an illusion. We live in a matrix, blah, blah, blah. But one thing I've realized very, very recently was as much as I like escaping and feeling like I can float above all of this, I still live here. I
Yeah.
still have children.
Didn't let it fucking go up in smoke. Gosh, I took a lifeguard course last winter. And when I was in the course, there was like a group of younger girls. And one of the girls was talking to her boss, of all people, and she was saying that in the event of an emergency in the future, she really hopes that someone else working knows more than she does because she doesn't know what she needs to do and she would be too afraid. And if someone threw up, she would throw up. And I'm like, bitch, I don't think you should be here.
No, she
And I said, you are supposed to do it. It is up to you. I said, this is why we're all going to hell in a handbasket because everybody thinks somebody else is gonna do it. Somebody else is gonna do it. I'm like, you're the one, baby. You're the lifeguard. Like, no, no.
that is hilarious. Yeah, and that if you take that and turn it into an analogy for spiritual teachers nowadays, it's like that's we regurgitate, and I'm using we because I did this and I still do it. We regurgitate information that is not completely embodied within us yet.
I mean, understandably so. But yeah, recognizing when we do that also is important. It's so funny. I was talking about this very recently along the same lines that like, people look at shamans as like these elevated humans, but they're also just humans. They also have emotions. They also have an ego. They also have aches and pains. They also have to, deal with this other extra dimensional stuff that other people don't understand. And it's like the light and the dark, the duality of everything.
Yeah. We're still very human, all of us. So I love Earth. I never ever. Oh, hi, Grace. I saw her in the background.
Oh my goodness. That's so funny. She's peeking in and out.
Yeah, again, I just love Earth. I love it. I love it so much. I love being here. I love the density of it. I fucking love it. But I also love from my expanded awareness, knowing that, at a literally at a snap of a finger, that things can change and I can change it if I want to change it.
Yeah.
That is what's so fun about living.
Sure. That is why we're here. Yeah. Anyone who has felt lately like I'm in the matrix, I can't change anything. This is
Yep.
the whole government's corrupted, all the conspiracies are true. Yeah, you're right. Get the fuck up. Put one foot in front of the other. We need to build this new world that we're going to live in, and no one is in control of that. There is no one way. There's not like it comes from like just existing as a human. What would Jesus do? I've been thinking a lot about that. Like,
Oh, every day.
I want a bracelet.
That
Oh,
is another tattoo I'm getting. WWJD. I swear, I there is something about him that keeps coming in for me, and it came in last year when um I got hypnotized. What's it called when you like
EMP.
past life regression?
Okay, yeah. Okay. Past life regression. Yes.
Past life regression. I woke up as Mary Magdalene, like first person, like I was her. I was at the foot of Jesus' cross and I was talking to him. And he was like, "You know the plan. You knew this was going to happen." He's like, "Do not weep." And that's when I like contacted my friend and I was like, "I was Mary Magdalene and I woke up and it was the craziest thing." And I've never felt in my whole entire life, and still I think about it, heartbreak like that. Like grief to that extent.
Mm.
And what I realized, like long after the fact, not soon enough, was I was just feeling what we all collectively
Yeah.
feel or have within us. Like we were saying earlier, that like all that exists within us, the awakening of the feminine. And since then, I have been asking myself on a daily basis, like, what would God do? Like, what would Jesus do? Like, how would he respond? Right. And I asked ChatGPT just yesterday. I was like, act as a novelist and take how Jesus is described in the Bible, his personality, his characteristic traits, and I want you to describe him as if you were a novelist, right? And ChatGPT really fucked my whole world up because I thought Jesus was this kind, compassionate human being and it was all rainbows and butterflies and sunshine. Like, absolutely fucking not. He called out people who were hypocrites He was angry, he felt grief, he felt rage, he had all of these emotions. And I was like, oh, I
Yeah.
fucking love you, Jesus. Like, even more. I love you so much.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't know that. I was so like, I knew about the flipping tables, but I thought that was like a one off instance, right? But the calling out the hypocrites, I feel like I do that so often, but silently to myself, to the point where I don't want to say anything out loud because I don't want to be called a hypocrite myself. So there's some like this low level fear in me of the fingers being pointed right back. But like, that's what I just like don't give a fuck. Like, I
Yeah.
don't give a fuck.
Everyone is a little bit of a hypocrite. I mean, like, until it's recognized. So, I mean,
Yeah.
be afraid for someone to call you out because then you'll know more and you'll be, oh, now I'm even more powerful because I collected that little bit too.
Yes. I think the difference is when someone gets called a hypocrite is there are two responses. And one is a more, I'm going to use the word elevated response. And the elevated response is to kind of circle back and assess the situation and be like, okay, am I being a hypocrite? And kind of like changing your beliefs around it. Like if you really were being a hypocrite, you could say like, oh yeah, you're right. I was. Like taking full ownership of that, right? And I think I think that's one of the most attractive attributes I find in a human being when you confront them with something and they're like they don't take offense to it and they like take ownership for their shit.
The ability to change their mind and be accountable for their actions and how their actions made someone feel. Yeah.
And there's
Like,
nothing sexier than that. Accountability.
yeah. Yeah.
Nothing. Like nothing.
Yeah.
This is wild. We talked about Jesus. We talked about all the things. All
You
the
know,
things.
who's my homeboy? Lucifer. I can't even get into that. No, I'll get into it, but not really very deeply. But I just wanted to mention it's so funny. I've been talking about this recently. Again, not as a religious person, not as someone who I am in no way aligned with low vibrational, ill-intentioned, harmful energy in any way whatsoever, consciously.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, I only wish good and love, and but I'm not only light and love because I also understand like the shadows. That's like, very important part of it. But in the sense that having been in the shadows in many different lifetimes, having been manipulated by archontic like dark energy for them like to invert my energy and siphon from me, and in a way then like also still being complicit in, contributing to the darkness. You know what I mean? Like I feel for that, like in different lifetimes. And but also releasing, like that's not really my fault. It's basically like if it's like blaming someone for like getting raped, essentially. Like
Yeah.
so, but still carrying like, understandably, like that's kind of complex, but like in a way, that's what they did do. Because as priestesses, like they came in and like took us, and that was how they abused us and created, more heirs for themselves and whatever, inverted our power. So I've had to process things like that, but in that sense, I recognized the archetype of Lucifer as being very different from the devil or Satan or the Antichrist. Like every one of them has, it's like a different version, you know? I
Mhm.
don't know how to explain that. Does that make
Yeah, it makes so much sense. And you were right about we need duality. We do. And I don't like, I don't really resonate with the term Lucifer or even like the archetype, even, which is so interesting to me. Like, it's not in my field of awareness, but I can see where you're coming from. He's like misunderstood
yes? Like
and
he's a
a
fallen angel, and
scapegoat.
yeah. Yes. Like I call on him to collect demons. Because as much as Jesus is my homeboy, Jesus doesn't need to deal with this bullshit. Lucifer, on the other hand, that is his purpose, that is his job, and he also loves to torture the demons. He is actually like keeping them accountable and having them atone for like whatever. Like they're that he's the master of that realm. That's his job. That doesn't mean he's evil. He's actually upholding the word of God or whatever you want to say. I mean, like he's upholding his realm, like he's playing his role. He knows his role. He's in his lane. It doesn't mean that he is that.
Mhm.
It's interesting.
Yeah, people are like that on Earth. Like, we all have a purpose. Sometimes our purpose, like for you, is to trigger women specifically and to also trigger men's desire specifically, which can feel like an internal demon, right? Like,
It certainly
so
does.
I can see why you resonate.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's a very, very large part of me that has existed in the darkness, and I also find her beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I do. I think I love it there now. I used to be so afraid of the dark, but I am not anymore.
It's
Yeah.
it that's like where you grow your roots.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
yeah. It's so important to honor the seasons in our lives and in time and our, external worlds. And this is like such an important time going through winter. I feel like this year, for the first year, I didn't really do like Christmas. I didn't have a Christmas tree. I had a little Yule tree and I like called it a Yule tree. I didn't call it a Christmas tree. You know, I was trying to very like keep it low key and I decorated with like pomegranates and I'm like, yup, Persephone. Like I'm calling my girls. I'm talking to Hecate. I'm invoking her. My mom gave me some gold earrings, and they're in a crescent shape. And I recently just read that a way to honor Hecate is through the crescent because of the moon, but also the croissant. It's like a way to honor her. And
Mm.
I was like, oh my gosh, my gold earrings are croissants. And then I put them in. I'm like, yep, that's for you. And that's like how I have relationships with these different archetypes that I regularly, consistently venerate them. And that is like actually my highest expression of love in my gene keys is veneration. And like, I think that that's very important because I certainly call on them for their help when I feel things amiss.
All on Medusa.
Medusa, yes, she would be a wonderful one too. Yes.
For you, especially. That's who I feel like your frequency resonates with the most, like,
Yeah.
or matches with, not resonate.
Yeah. It has been such a wonderful conversation with you today, Erica. Thank you so much for spending time with me. And thank you to all of you for holding space for our conversation. I hope it expanded your awareness and gave you insight into our experience.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me, Christine. I would love to come on again. I love talking to you. Like, time just flew. Time just flew by.
Take care. Until next time. Thank you so much for listening all the way through. In this episode, we touched on a lot: spirituality, outside institutions, expanded awareness, parenting, embodiment, and what it looks like to stay human while holding big experiences. If something in this episode stirred your curiosity, discomfort, or recognition, let it be. You don't need to figure it out right now. Integration happens in layers. And if this conversation helped you feel a little bit less alone in your experience, then it did exactly what it was meant to do. I also wanted to share a link in the show notes for the most recent episode that I recorded with Amy Belair, where I go into a little bit more detail about the experiences of my initial sudden awakening, if you're interested in hearing about that. As always, take what resonates, leave the rest, and trust your own inner knowing. Thank you for sharing in our experience. I'll see you in the next episode.